Good evening, everyone. My name is Saumya, and my group members are Daniel, Richard, Ryan, and Cesar. Our topic for today's presentation is competitive advantage. So let's understand what competitive advantage is first. A competitive advantage is what makes a company different and better when compared to others in a particular industry. It also refers to the ability of any company to deliver their products or services either at a lower cost or an improved level than other players in the same industry. Now, every company has to build or advance their products according to customers' needs. Once the product is built, they have to explain the benefits of the product to their target market. Every company should aim on offering a product which is better than their competitors. So, as a whole, for a company to be successful, they need to be able to articulate the benefits of the product to their target market by comparing with their competitors. Now, there are a few methods companies use to gain competitive advantage, and they are through brand monitoring, where they measure and monitor the brand to track status and make decisions about pricing and customer preferences. Real-time response is where the customers would get immediate response for their inquiries. Using a social media platform, companies aim to engage their customers in a public forum to have conversations. Now, in this presentation, we aim to talk about Facebook, Snapchat, and Airbnb. Let's understand what steps these companies take to implement competitive advantage. Companies hire top talent to lock up their skill set and reduce the likelihood of a new entrant to cause competition. Companies also focus on publicizing their products and services through mass media and ad campaign to help build their brands. Word of mouth and social media are most effective methods to increase sales in an organization. Above all, companies like Facebook, Snapchat, and Airbnb are successful because these companies stayed on top of innovation as a continuous process. Promoting innovation in a workplace entitles encouraging new ideas and creativity. I would like to request Daniel now to take over the presentation and talk more about Facebook.
Thank you, Samir, for the introduction. Up next, we'll take a look at our first company, Facebook. I'm sure everyone's well aware of what Facebook is, but here's a quick high-level summary of what it is. It is the largest online social media and social networking site. It was founded in 2004. It currently has 1.78 billion monthly active users. Primary revenue is through advertisement. 26 revenue was $27 billion with a net income of $10 billion. So it's a very good margin. Customers are both app users and advertisers. The competitors in this space includes Twitter, Google, MySpace, Snapchat, and LinkedIn. Okay, next we take a look at overview of the industry. In our analysis, we found that the threat of new entrants is mid to high. There are always ever-changing technological advancements with changing consumer preference. So it's easy for a new entrant to create an app that may catch on, that may offer something new. New entrants may also try to target a niche market that hasn't been tapped before, for example, LinkedIn. Substitute rivalry among existing firms is high. There are many services offering similar type of user experience and targeting the same advertisers. Bargaining power of consumers is low to medium. Even though this is a free service and users are free to leave anytime, but the power of network effect tends to keep users engaged. The initial competitive advantage we found from the company is there was a big demand to the product due to the exclusivity of it. So Facebook initially was only available to Ivy League students and later on college students. It only opened to the public in 2006. It had a better user experience compared to the incumbent. Facebook listened to their users and added in-demand features quickly and efficiently. They were more nimble than their incumbent competitor. Sustained competitive advantage. Similar to the initial competitive advantage, Facebook continued with their continuous improvement They've always kept the user experience in mind and always making tweaks to the program to make it better. Over the years, they've introduced many new features that have changed how we communicate. For example, the wall, photos, photo tagging, events, Facebook messaging, marketplace, like button, games. Some of the more recent innovations includes 360-degree videos and Facebook Live. Innovation by acquisition. Facebook is not shy about buying up companies that they believe it complements their existing service or is a threat to their existing service. Some of the big acquisitions includes WhatsApp, Oculus, and Instagram. Leveraging customer user information. With a massive active user database, Facebook is able to offer targeted ads more effectively, which is desired by marketers. Facebook is also critical to others by offering a platform for companies to engage in social media and advertisement. This creates a self-reinforcing loop to keep attracting new users to Facebook, as well as keep existing users keep coming back. Network effect. All of your friends are using it. If you're not using it, you may be left out in the loop, so you have to continue using it. Superior HR management. So having a superior HR management, you're both ensuring you have the best and the brightest to develop your program, and you're also denying those resources to your competitor. Okay, that's it for us for Facebook. Up next is Ryan to talk to you about Snapchat.
Thanks for that, Daniel. Now today I'll be discussing Snapchat. Snapchat is a mobile app and a social media platform based on multimedia and image messaging. It was conceived and launched in 2011 by two Stanford students. It basically resides in the social media industry, and its revenue is purely by ad sales. The customers are app users and businesses alike. Its competitors consist of the major competitors of Facebook and Instagram, with minor competitors being MySpace, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, LifeStage, Snow, Google, and Apple iMessage. There is a low barrier to entry in this industry because new social media apps are going live on a monthly basis due to these platforms like Apple Store, Google Play, and smart TVs, and the low cost of entry for these developments. It's worth the risk for these newcomers to take a small gamble on building a social media app in the hopes that it could garner great attention. There is minor switching costs for users, as their friends and peers may not be members of the competing platforms. Moving on to the initial competitive advantages. Privacy is the big key that Snapchat started with. After 10 seconds, your message is deleted and will leave no trace. Users can communicate without the risk of having media posted for all to see. Also, this app is focused on millennials. Teens feel like they found an app for their age group. They found an app where they might not find their aunt or their mother in that same app, and that makes them excited. Also, they have a higher level of engagement as compared to Facebook and Instagram. The app focuses on rapid return engagement of users. The core teen demographic opens the app 18 times a day and spends 30 minutes on it. Now, with regards to sustained competitive advantages, first off, it's innovation. That's number one. Snapchat constantly is updating their app with new features and functions that keep it exciting and relevant. Secondly, network effect. Hey, if all your friends use Snapchat, then you will too. Thirdly, high-frequency engagement. Users continue to access Snapchat more often than its competitors, which is preferable in most types of advertising these days. And that's going to wrap with Snapchat. Now we're off to Zerzar to talk about Airbnb. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. I'm going to talk about Airbnb, which is one of the largest privately owned technology companies in the world. If you don't know about Airbnb, it's essentially a rental marketplace where I, as an apartment owner, can put my apartment up on Airbnb, and someone else, who may be in the city for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, can find my listing and pay me a nightly fee to live in my accommodations. Airbnb would then take a percentage of that fee as commission, and this would be their primary source of revenue. So Airbnb has been around for about 10 years, and it's in the travel and hospitality industry. And it's important to note that their customers are not just the renters, but also the listers who've put up their listings on the site. Now, before Airbnb came along, the primary competitors in the space were hotel and motel chains. So if I was going to New York City, I'd pick the cheapest, the best hotel I could find, and I'd go ahead and pick that one. After Airbnb, there's really been an explosion in the marketplace niche. We have competitors that focus on geography, such as HouseTrip, which is a European competitor, and also ones that focus on specific niches, such as vacation rentals and home rentals. So in this industry, there are a couple of important points to note. The first is that there's a very high barrier to entry. If you want to enter the space, you either have to purchase a hotel or build one from scratch, or if you want to be a marketplace like Airbnb, you have to solve the chicken and egg problem. The chicken and egg problem is essentially, how do you get both listers and renters on your platform at the same time? Because if you have one or the other, the marketplace won't last very long. A related point is the network effect for incumbents. The more listings you have on your platform, the more attractive you are, not just for renters, but also to other listers who think of you as the de facto standard for this particular niche. The third point is about customers, who are very price sensitive. They'll gladly pick the cheapest accommodation they can find, as long as it's safe and as long as it's clean. So when Airbnb first entered this space, they had a couple of big competitive advantages. They were the first marketplace to specialize in this particular niche, so they had the first mover advantage, but they could also compete with hotel and motel firms by guaranteeing low prices. This is because I, as an apartment owner, may want to rent my bedroom, and the alternative, if I didn't want to go with Airbnb initially, was that my bedroom would not be rented at all, and I would have no income. And therefore, I was willing to accept a lower price because the alternative was earning no income at all. The third point is the quality of use of the platform. The founders and the early staff of Airbnb have always taken a customer-centric approach, and this has led to a great user experience of the platform. So now that Airbnb is at the top of the hill in this industry, how do they stay that way, and how do they protect against new competitors that may come and try to take that position away from them? Well, the first point is recruiting of top talent. Airbnb exists in the center of the technology industry, which is the San Francisco Bay Area, and their compensation package, including their stock options, is really top-notch. There's also a network effective marketplace that I mentioned before. Airbnb has the most number of listings, and they have the highest engagement, so there is a reputation that each lister builds on that platform. And that leads to the third point, which is switching cost. If I, as a lister, want to move away from the Airbnb platform and join one of the competitors, I have to give up my entire reputation that it's taken a long time for me to build. So even if the competitor has a better user experience or a better product, I may not want to give up my entire reputation and build it from scratch. And this puts Airbnb in a very solid position. The last point is that they've really focused on quality even to this day, 10 years later. They're still focusing on innovation such as fraud analysis to make sure that I, as a renter, feel safe when I live in a certain accommodation. And if I'm a lister, I can make sure that the person who's going to rent my place is not going to tear it apart, or that I'm going to end up with a big repair bill at the end of the day. That's pretty much all I had for Airbnb. I'll pass it off to Rich for the conclusion.
Thanks, Zerzar. Before we finish, we'd like to revisit the 3 strategies introduced earlier by Soumya that are used in some form by each of these companies to sustain competitive advantage. With respect to recruiting top talent, Zerzar talked about the top-notch compensation offered by Airbnb, which is also located in the tech mecca of San Francisco. Next is cumulative marketplace effects, and Daniel mentioned Facebook's massive user database that allows narrowly targeted, or essentially customized, marketing. Ryan discussed the continuous innovation utilized by Snapchat to keep their app fresh and relevant. This is particularly important considering their key demographic of teens and younger adults. That wraps it up for the West Coast team of Soumya, Daniel, Ryan, Zerzar, and Rich. Now we'll return to the live feed in Boston to answer any questions.